Okay, so the salinity of this tank right now is 0.021 specific gravity, and the temperature is 25 degrees. Now I want to keep the salinity a little bit on the low side because new fish keep on arriving in this tank, and therefore it's only a matter of time till it ends up getting white spot. And we're starting to see signs now. This unicorn tang is starting to not look good. Now it's really, really important that fish are never introduced more regularly than once a month, and any wild caught fish from cold into warm need to be recognised for the risk that it is. So the auto top-up has run dry, but I did actually have some spare RO water, which in the event of the auto top-up running dry, we just need to make sure that RO actually ends up in the auto top-up. At this stage, it's absolutely no problem because the sump is still full and the salinity of the tank is still on the high side. Now, I'm worried about this unicorn, so I'm going to recommend dosing the tank with some Vogel, and we're really going to have to watch this guy. And it's really, really important that no fish go in this aquarium for at least 2 months. Otherwise, this condition will just get worse and it will be a time bomb. Fish will start to keel over. So this coronation trout has recently been put in here, and I'm definitely a little bit worried about him. He's got a little bit of a cloudy eye, and I would like to know his history, where he came from. So I'm sounding big alerts. Okay, so the KH is 8, which I'm happy with. The pH is 7.9, which, considering there's a tiny bit of ammonia, I'm happy with. I'd rather it be higher. Phosphate is 1.8. I'd rather that be lower, but that's okay. Calcium is I'm not worried about, that's fine. Magnesium, I'm not worried about, that's fine. We've got almost no ammonia. We've got a little bit of nitrite, which is not unexpected considering new animals have gone in the aquarium, and there is a little bit of nitrate in there. So all in all, the water quality is actually quite good. The issues with this aquarium have nothing to do with water quality. They have to do with animals going in too quickly. Now what I'm going to do is clean the protein skimmers. I'm going to replace the filter wool, and then I'm going to siphon all of the sediment out of the bottom of the aquarium. Now I find the sheer amount of garbage that this JBL filter wool is able to remove is so much more than your average filter wool. You pay a little bit more for it, but I think as a mechanical media, I think it's really worth it. I mean, the weight in that is significant. Now, if you do have a back glass or something that's particularly hard to clean, it's really worth considering not cleaning it, because when it starts going dirty, it will look terrible, but then over a period of time, it will eventually turn coralline. It will actually look quite good, and it's a wonderful surface for the fish to graze on. This aquarium is still relatively new, and I normally would not want to turn on a UV yet, but because I am worried about these fish, because too many are being added, I'm going to switch the UV on because I fear a imminent or I'm really worried about a white spot breakout. So now to help remove the elevated nitrate and phosphate, I'm going to replace the algon with some new algon to help suck out these organics. How much biological is going on in this aquarium? I'm going to put another sheet of poly filter into the filter with the other one, which is currently doing a very good job. Okay, so now I'm just doing a water change. So I'm just pumping some water back into the aquarium that I've replaced. All in all, the water's actually pretty good. The issue is fish keep going in. And if fish keep going in, then you create an unstable situation. The aquarium becomes like a pack of cards, and it will fall like a pack of cards. You've got to follow the 8 rules. There's 8 principles available on Majestic Aquarium's TV. If you follow those 8 rules, you'll find that the tank goes really well. And if you breach any of those 8 rules, then the breach will often cost you. Now, introducing any of these cold water species into a warm water aquarium comes with significant risks. Really, they should be quarantined, separated, and monitored for a minimum of a month before going in with any of the tropical species, because some of the pathogens and so forth that they introduce aren't necessarily sort of common to any of the warmer water species. And the fact that there are cold water species getting put into the warm water causes them significant stress, and they often don't eat. So this is a risk that you have if you play around with any cold water species and you put them in an aquarium, and it's not practical to keep them at the cold temperatures. So you need to just recognize and be aware of the risk, otherwise you end up with a pathogen and it's not good. You'll lose them and the other fish too. So these banjo sharks are absolutely beautiful, almost stingray type shark. Absolutely magnificent, but they really don't like the warm days. So this tank's had a bit of a quick cleanup now, and I would like to see some bigger and more common water changes, particularly focusing on the amount of sediment in the sand. And also want to make sure next time when there's a bit more time, I want to give the lids a bit of a clean. But for now, we're testing well and it's all fine. But right now we're crossing our fingers because too many fish have been put in too quick. And I've now got the UV on, so I'm hoping that we don't have a pathogen outbreak. But at the end of the day, if fish keep going in, we'll end up with a pathogen outbreak, and that's not going to be fun. So if no fish go in and we're lucky, we'll go good. But we just do not want any fish put in here for a couple of months, and that's assuming everything goes really, really well. If it goes up too fast, it goes down fast. Some spare RO water there. So if the sump is to run dry, we really need that RO dumped in the auto top up.